How's it going, everybody? RLS ASMR back with another video. Today I'll be drinking coffee and doing a little bit of a ramble for you guys. Not exactly doing a mukbang in this video, but if you guys, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead, drop me a follow. Drop me a subscription, follow my socials. Links are all in the description. But I do have some notes because I was feeling like talking about some stuff and I wrote it down. I'm debating chewing gum in this video. My gum chewing videos are usually hit or miss. I usually get a lot of people saying they like them and want more, but then the viewership is always a little wonky. So I'm debating doing another one of those. I think this should be more of like a pure whisper ramble type of. Well, it's not pure whisper ramble because I'm drinking coffee, but like, just like an intimate kind of whisper ramble. Sorry if my skin's messed up. Y'all see my acne and stuff. My skin ain't perfect, whatever. But this is very up close. More up close than like any of my other videos. Realistically, there's a gnat in here and it's driving me insane. But okay, to get straight into the main topic of this video is so as you guys know that I mentioned in as you guys know in almost every single video I do, I mention about my health pretty much almost all of them. So as you know, I've been pretty isolated. But I've been trying to fill my time with crap that I want to do. This channel's one of them. But I need to fill my time with more things that I actually want to do. And, somewhat things I need to do. But for the most part, there are things that I like really, really, really want to do. And they'll probably make me happier. But then I have like very little motivation to do those things. Mainly because my main gripe, I have too many interests. I have too many things I actually like to do and want to do. I want to get back into playing bass guitar. I used to do that. I used to like to read a lot of books, and it's hard to get me to read a book now, so I want to go and read books. I want to do a lot of research about the politics in the world, but it's hard doing that because then you start doom scrolling and figuring out, oh, like, life's fucking terrible. And then, you want to, like, watch a bunch of movies and everything, but then you're wasting your time. Like, I watched 3 Toy Story movies, like, back to back. Now, I watched the first 2 back to back, waited a day, and then I watched the 3rd one today, just for, like, nostalgia purposes and, like, escapism. And there's things like I really want to do that I would rather do than that. But doing that seems like by the time I get done reading even I have a list. I'll see if I can show you. This is like what I'm talking about. I don't know if you probably can't read that, but it says learn C# because I want to learn programming. Learn bass guitar because I want to relearn that. I already said that. And then it says DoorDash on the side, which is what I want to do to earn money because I can't work right now. I can drive a car, but I can't like work in a business, due to my whole situation. And DoorDash is pretty independent, so I can like do DoorDash and pay for mukbangs, pay for food to do like mukbangs and all that kind of stuff. So those are things that I want to do. But I have so many options. But here's the thing, by the time I actually get done, doing all of those different things, like writing all those things down I want to do, or tasks I want to get done throughout the day, I get so tired from the thought of doing them, or that I've just had a meal, and I'm like, oh dang, I'm actually kind of tired, I need to sleep. Then I sleep through the whole day, and I don't get anything done. Then I go and watch movies for escapism because I feel guilty. If you're wondering what my cup says, it says my brain has too many tabs open. I don't know if you guys are like that. I am definitely like that. My brain has way too many tabs open. My friend bought me that because I'm the guy who has like 2 web pages, both with like, I have 2 browsers open, like 2 web browsers. Like, I'll have 1 tab on one screen because I have dual monitors, and then another tab on another screen. The left will be like 5 different YouTube tabs, and then the right will things that I'm actually like trying to read about, or some YouTube stuff, and I flip between like, okay, what's on my YouTube channel doing? Oh, I want to go on this channel because I'm subscribed to these people on this channel. My life is a mess, but I've been contemplating. I want to do some research. I don't think I actually have ADHD, but I think it's worth looking into. I have this huge issue. This is a side tangent, but this is a Ramble video, so that's kind of what you signed up for when you clicked on it. Clicked on this video, I mean. But I'm like looking around, or I have this habit of zoning out and just completely, like, I either zone in on something so hard that I don't pay attention to anything else, or I zone out so hard that I wasn't listening to anything that someone says. Like, I do this thing. This is a good example. If someone's talking about giving a story and they mention something, like let's say the story is about something to do with tractors, I'm listening intently to the story, but then then a thought will enter my head. I don't know if you guys do this too. I'm not trying to be special like everyone nowadays. They're trying to find something about themselves to like, oh, I'm special because I have this thing. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm ADHD, I'm so quirky. Like, I'm not like that. But, you know, I'm trying to be like, oh, do I actually have it? Because I like to get back to the thing. It's like, okay, so I'll do this thing where, say someone mentions something about tractors. I'll think in my head, I'm like, what's the difference between like a tractor and a bobcat? Isn't a bobcat like a... But then I was like, oh, well, no, like a tractor is more like a milling thing, and then, or like a farming thing, and a bobcat's kind of like a small crane. Okay, well, not like a crane, but then I start, okay, let's say if I have that thought, then I'm like, okay, well, what are cranes? Like, what are the use of cranes? I know they're used in construction, but like, what are they actually used for? Then I go and I look up, and it's like, oh, they're used cinder blocks. Then I'm like, oh, are cinder blocks like, you know, are they cement, or are they some kind of mixture between like rubble and cement? Or like, what is cement? What powder and what elements are in cement? And that's literally what I'm thinking about while the person's talking. And then by the end of it, everyone's laughing, and I'm like, what was the conversation about? I'm over here thinking about, I went from tractors to thinking about the materials that are in cement. And sometimes I Google it and sometimes I don't. But the reason I got into ASMR was because many reasons. I looked up the reason. Well, I'll give a whole different, that's not for this video. Why I got into ASMR is not for this video. I may have already explained it in one of my other videos, but I forget. But basically, like, I do this thing at night where I sit down. I don't have my phone on my face, and then I'm not on my phone. I lay down. I lay back, and I make a conscious effort to try to get sleep without looking at my phone or any technology. I go to bed like an hour, 2 hours before, like, get off the computer, then go to bed about an hour after, like, all that stuff. I'll lay back in bed. I'll chill and look at the stars. I'll look at the ceiling. The stars. I'll look at the ceiling. And then I will literally... I'll have the same train of thought. I'll start thinking of things that happened. Say I had a funny game, and let's say we were playing like Counter-Strike. Let's say, because Counter-Strike 2 came out. Oh, we were playing Counter-Strike 2. Let's say we're on Dust 2. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are gamers and if you guys know what I'm talking about. But let's say I went and pushed the enemy team. I'll make it more dumbed down. So not dumbed down, that sounds bad. I'll put it in like terms that everyone can understand. Now it makes it sound like I'm just calling y'all stupid. I'm not. Anyways, I'm sorry. But I was like, let's say I push the enemy team, but then someone comes behind me and kills me. But I said something really funny. And when that happened, and then I'll be thinking of that, and then I'm like, well, what if I actually did this? Where did Counter-Strike come from? Oh, I know it's a Valve game. Well, I know Valve is a game that also made like the Left 4 Dead series, right? I don't, quote me if you want, but I'm pretty sure. And then it's like, well, Left 4 Dead was a really fun game. Left 4 Dead was actually one of the first games I played when I was a younger kid. Oh, like shooter zombie games. Then it's like, oh, I definitely would rather play like a better zombie, or why aren't there any good zombie games coming out recently? And it's a track. And then it's like, yeah, I actually prefer, this isn't an actual opinion, but this will be something I think about. It's like, I actually prefer Francis over Bill. And then it's like, well, who's better, Zoe or Who's the other ones? I'm sorry, Francis, Bill. Isn't Francis, Bill, Lewis, and Zoe on one team? And then who's on the other team? Man, I forget. Everyone, here's the thing. By the way, if you played Left 4 Dead, and if you don't like Zoe, you're dead to me. Anyways, just kidding. No, but it's like, I have these random thoughts, and it's like, man, the boomer is one ugly zombie. Well, the smoker is pretty ugly too. Well, if I was gonna be like a Left 4 Dead zombie, I'd probably want to be the hunter. Well, being the tank is pretty cool. Well, being a tank is basically just being on steroids, and he has like a tiny head and giant arms. That's not cool. Yeah, so the coolest zombie is probably the hunter, because the smoker has a long tongue, which is kind of disgusting. And then, excuse me, and then I don't want to be the spitter, or the splitter, or whatever it's called, that spits like that toxic venom. I don't want that. I don't want to be the guy who's fat. I've already been fat. Not fun. Don't like that. Like, that's literally what I think about. All you women asking, like, what men think about. This is another thing I'm going to get into real quick. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on TikTok, and I'm thinking about making a TikTok about it. And responding to people who say it, because I think it's hilarious. But, like, there's this thing. There's this thing on TikTok, like, the Roman Empire thing. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And then there's other TikToks, it's like, what do men think about? And then, like, their husbands always say, like, nothing. We have a nothing box, according to this one comedian. I don't know if I'm just, like, a female brain man. I don't mean that literally, but, like, I don't know if I'm, like, more... I don't think traits are gendered necessarily. Obviously, there are ones that are more masculine, more feminine. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to cause, like, a gender debate. But I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, I think traits can be... Men and women can have traits, and they won't be necessarily feminine or masculine. Personality-wise, you know what I mean? Anyways, so, like, what was I getting into? Oh, yeah, so it's like... Wait, no, what was I saying? See, I'm ADHD. I forgot what I was saying. No, let me think. Traits, masculine, feminine. This is how I try to remember. Traits, masculine, feminine. Oh, that's right. Forgetting, like, okay, so I do this thing, like, when I'm in the car, like, they're the whole understanding of the TikTok thing, okay, is when men can zone out and think about nothing. I cannot literally think about nothing. Now, I know that sometimes I think what they're saying is you can sort of zone out and just pay attention to the road and sort of daydream. Your mind goes blank, but the mind going blank for me doesn't necessarily happen. What happens to me is I start staring at the road, but then a thought takes over my head, and then I start churning that thought, and I start really over-analyzing that thought, and then it becomes this amalgam in this web of weird, crazy thoughts in my head. Like, not crazy, like, it becomes this weird, like how I just explained with the tractor, and how I explained with, like, thinking about, like, Left 4 Dead late at night or something like that, or like Counter-Strike. I think about things, and then it starts this weird train of thought that ends me in these weird places that leads me to have to Google something. And it's like, that's what keeps me up at night. Then I watch TikTok. Then I'm watching YouTube. I have to watch ASMR and force myself to bed. That's kind of how I have to do it. Because it's whack if I don't. But that's basically what I was saying. It's like, I don't know how all these men, they just have a nothing box. I'll give you guys a little bit of an anecdote to explain how my brain works and what I'm talking about. So back in the day, my dad and I, when I say back in the day, I mean like 10 years ago. Oh, that was 10 years ago. I feel old. I'm only 24, guys, but, 13. I feel like I was 13 yesterday. But that was like 11 years ago. But, everyone, okay. Everyone in my like 25 to 44 demographic that watches my content just rolled their eyes at me. I see you guys. You're like, you ain't old. Look, you don't know what old is. I understand. I understand that your bones are cracking, but don't come for me. I'm sorry. But one of his work colleagues, he owned these houses, but he didn't live in any of the houses, so he needed to pay someone to go and mow the lawns every so often, so that he could like rent them out and keep them up, right? He'd have other people to renovate. Well, sometimes he'd have my dad help him with renovations, but only if it was something that was like small, that might not that small. Not that my dad couldn't do big stuff, but if he's the let me say, explain like the work colleague. He's an older guy, so he's the type of guy who, if it's something complicated and he needs a big renovation, he would pay people to do it because he doesn't want to do it. And he's not gonna like have my dad do it. So it would like, but if it's something small, like he needs help, like for instance, we had to put an AC in for him in one of his units. He's not gonna pay someone to put an AC unit in, but like his work colleague can help him because he's an older, skinny guy, like he's in his 80s or something, and my he's still pretty young for an older fella. He's turning 60 this year, but it's like, that's quite an age difference, like him and me. I think my dad just got back. Yeah, my dad just got back. But then there's like an age difference between him and me, Obviously, I'm his son. And then so I'm young, and then, I could help my dad. My dad's pretty strong too, so we could lift the AC unit and whatever. But when we would be moving from either house to house, or we would be going from one, we would be finished with our job for the day mowing the lawns, my dad, would always ask me this question, because I would start zoning out in the car. There would be no music. I wouldn't be listening to sometimes I'd be listening to my music and have my headphones, so I didn't bother him with whatever stupid videos I was watching while he was driving. And if it's like stupid and political, I'm not gonna want him to watch it or listen to it because I don't want it to start an argument. I just did that as like a respect thing, but because my parents don't like cussing and all that stuff, so all the time he would ask me this question, and I hated this question, not because I didn't want to interact with my dad. I love interacting with my dad, but I explained to him one day, I'm like, sometimes, Dad, I'm literally just like, because this is what would happen, okay? I'm gonna try and think of a good example that explains my thought process so you guys understand. Okay, so say we're mowing lawns, right? Oftentimes, like I just explained, I'd get all these weird, it's bothering me. I get these like weird, side tangent thoughts, I guess I'll call them, where it's like, okay, so we're mowing lawns. I usually have the weed whacker, and I'm like, okay, so I'm using an electric weed whacker. What did they use before weed whackers were invented? Would they use like hedge trimmers? Because hedge trimmers would work decent, but not that great. And then I'm thinking, well, isn't that what the scythe was used for? Like those big scythes, like, isn't that actually what like the old like weed whacker? And then I start thinking, well, what are like medieval gardening tools? And then we're driving home, and then it's like, so what would be like a medieval gardening tool? What would they even call it? Oh, dang. And then it's like, I wonder what, like, and then it's a bunch of like random thoughts that lead me to nowhere. And so as soon as he asks the question, hey, what are you thinking about? I'll be like, nothing. Because to explain to him how I got from point A to point Z would be so much work. Let me explain. I'd have to backtrack in my head, figure out what the original thought was, and then explain to him, well, I was thinking, if I just say medieval gardening tools, I've actually done that before. He'd ask me what I was thinking about, and I would just say it bluntly, and then there was nowhere for the conversation to go, because I'd have to, like, he didn't know my thought process, and I'd explain my thought process, and my dad would do that. Huh, okay. And I didn't know if he thought I was stupid, or if he thought I had a weird imagination, or whatever, because it never advanced past that. But sometimes I would think of like a proxy topic in my head, because I know he would be, I know that he would, ask me that question. So no matter what I was thinking about, sometimes I'd think of something like, okay, well, if he asked me that question, I'll say I was thinking about this because I know I'll have been thinking about something so weird. I don't want him to like, he's gonna be like, huh, I don't know where to go from there because my kid is so freaking weird. Not that he'd actually like seriously judge me, like my parents know I'm a goofball, but it's like the way my brain functions, I can literally like, I talk to myself. The reason I'm so good at rambling is because I do it to myself 24/7. People think I'm on phone calls, okay? Because I literally talk to myself. One thing, another thing in the TikTok I watched, they're like, yeah, he says he has no inner monologue, like no voices in his head. I know that's possible. I know some people don't have inner monologues, but I don't understand that. How do you not think to yourself in your own head? How do you not have the light? Okay, this is a Death Note reference. The light Yagami strategic mind voice in your head. Like, I don't get it. To all my anime fans, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know how you don't have that, but if you don't have that, leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, do you guys understand? Where I've been, like where I'm going with this. Do you experience the same mania that I experience on a daily basis? I don't know if it's like social media has eroded my mind. I have friends that would tell me yes, but I don't think it's social media that has eroded my mind. I did this as a kid with action figures. I zoned out and hyperfixated as a kid. Now that sounds like an active imagination, but I remember that I would start, like, let's say I played action figures at lunch, I would be playing with them until dinner, or until like my mom would have to tell us to go outside because we'd be playing inside, like on her Game Boys, but I'd be playing with Legos and action figures, and we'd be playing on the GameCube for a little bit, but then she'd just say go outside, and we would go outside and climb trees and go on our razor scooters and skateboards and like down the neighborhood and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, we did all the fun kid stuff. So I don't think I have ADHD because I think I'm probably just neurodivergent. I'm sorry. No, I'm probably just like different, just a tad bit different, but I don't think I have this like ADHD thing. But I mean, there has to be some kind of weird explanation for all my zoning out and not caring and like being bored at all these things. Maybe I just have a short attention span and I'm weird about stuff. But back to the main topic, me being depressed. So yeah, too many options and I get overwhelmed. I'm sleeping a lot. Oh yeah, and then TV shows. I basically like watch that for nostalgia and dopamine boost. And yeah, I covered everything because I've been really lonely due to the isolation stuff, which I think is, you know, normal for my situation. When you can't leave the house because you're afraid of like being a burden with your smell. I think leaving that. I think like having that as a concern with your personal hygiene because of something you can't control would make you want to stay inside more. I think that's happened. I think that's common for everybody. Well, not common for everybody. That would be common for everybody. Have you dealt with something like that? Is what I'm trying to say. What I have is a very uncommon skin condition, disease, whatever you want to call it. It's very uncommon. So, yeah. Just thought I would give a good ramble. I don't know when I'm gonna post this video for. I should probably post it for for Monday. It might be a Friday video. Depends on how today goes. So my plan for today is I'm gonna go if it's busy, I'm gonna go door dashing for a couple hours, and if I make enough to do a mukbang, I'll try and do a mukbang later on tonight. Basically, where I'm doing I'll try and do. There's gnats in my room, and I'm trying to get them. I'm exterminating them in full force. I'm sorry. Anyways, no, but I'll be doing some stuff. Like, I'll be trying to pay for mukbangs and stuff and get my own. Like, that's what I basically do. I'm not sure what restaurant. I'm not gonna say what restaurant I'm gonna go to next, but I'm gonna try and go to a restaurant. My options are, I'm thinking Chick-fil-A, pho, or like maybe I could hit Wendy's or Taco Bell again or something like that. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. We'll see what I actually do. And then, if I can get a couple recorded week because I'm gonna try and shoot for twice a week, which is why I'm recording this now. And then I'm gonna go out, do a little bit of work, come back, and then I think I'll be fine. So hopefully I'll be good by then, but we'll see. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my nonsense ramblings. I'm gonna go ahead and get this video edited and figure out when I want to upload it and all that good stuff. But like I said, the best way you can support me is by subscribing, liking, and commenting, and then follow me on my socials because I'll be posting funny and good content on there, original content, obviously because I'm such an original guy. And then just get all the love and support. Please subscribe. I've been getting a good amount of subscribers recently, and I want to keep that up. So you guys go ahead and hit a subscribe if you're this far. If you've made it this far, comment cheese sticks in the comments, and everyone will be wondering why. But if you've made it this far in the video, put in the comment section cheese sticks, and then I will know that you are a true fan because